idolized my dad until one day, at a taco stand, I saw him with another woman and a teenage boy who looked just like me. That's when I realized I had a half-brother I never knew. I grew up thinking my dad was a real-life superhero, the kind of dad who would sneak me out for ice cream late at night, who taught me how to skip rocks on the lake at sunrise, who never missed a single basketball game no matter how busy he claimed to be. My mom, a hard-working nurse, always said we were blessed to have him, and I believed her with every fiber of my being. When I was 14, he started taking what he called business trips every other weekend to Portland, and while I thought it was a little odd, I never questioned it because he'd always come home with random souvenirs, a keychain, weird mug, or a signed basketball, and he'd say he won them in raffles, or got them from clients. And my naive teenage brain just accepted it all, because he was dad, and he was perfect. Fast forward to this year, I'm 25, finally starting my dream job in Portland, excited to build my own life in the big city, while carrying all those warm memories like a safety blanket. One sunny Saturday, I went to this street food festival, determined to taste every taco stand there, just soaking in the music, the laughter, and the smell of grilled meats in the air, when suddenly I heard someone yell, "Dad, over here." And I turned instinctively, thinking, wait, that can't be. But my eyes landed on him, my dad, standing just a few feet away, smiling, his hand wrapped around a woman's waist. A woman I'd never seen before, and next to them stood a teenage boy who looked like a living, breathing ghost of my own teenage self. In that moment, I felt the world tilt. My stomach dropped like I was on the world's worst roller coaster. My hands went numb, and I could hear my heart hammering inside my skull so loud it drowned out the entire festival. My dad's eyes locked on mine, and I saw this flash of terror cross his face before he forced a smile and started walking toward me, leaving the woman and boy looking confused and glancing back and forth like they had just witnessed a car crash in slow motion. He hugged me, but it felt stiff, foreign, like hugging a mannequin, and he whispered in a shaky voice, "Not here. Please, I'll explain later," but I could barely hear him over the roaring in my ears. I ran. I don't even remember how I got home. I just remember staring at my ceiling. Every memory with him replaying on a twisted, endless loop. The fishing trips, the gifts, the business trips, every single lie I swallowed without question. A few hours later, he showed up at my apartment, pale and shaking like a man walking to his own execution. He didn't even try to deny it. He just broke down and confessed he had been seeing this other woman for 20 years. 20 years. And that teenage boy was my half-brother, born from the life he built in secret, while we all believed he was the perfect husband and father. He said he thought he could keep it separate, that he could manage both families forever, without us ever finding out. And I just sat there, numb, trying to understand how the man I adored could live such an elaborate, cruel double life. Then he asked me not to tell my mom. He begged me to keep his dirty secret, to help him figure it out quietly, as if I could just swallow this betrayal and pretend everything was fine, while he decided which family he'd hurt less. I felt sick. I knew I had to tell my mom, the woman who gave up everything for us, who stayed up all night working overtime shifts to keep food on the table, who always called him her rock and bragged to her friends about how loyal he was. Driving home to see her was the longest drive of my life. Every mile felt like I was dragging a knife deeper into my own chest. When I finally told her, she just stared at me, frozen, like I had unplugged her soul. Then the sobs came, deep, raw, from somewhere so deep it scared me. I held her as she shook and kept whispering, "How could he? How could he do this to us?" Over and over. And I realized in that moment that I wasn't just losing my father. I was watching my mother's entire world collapse in front of me. A week later, we confronted him together. He cried, he begged, but there was no saving what he had shattered. My mom filed for divorce immediately. Meanwhile, The other woman apparently knew he was married all along, but believed his promises that he was working on a separation. Another twisted thread in this giant tapestry of lies. A few days after everything exploded, I got a message on Instagram from my half-brother. "Are you really my brother? Can we meet?" I agreed. We sat across from each other in a coffee shop, and it felt like staring into a slightly different mirror. Same eyes, same nervous tapping of fingers. On the table, same silent pain behind forced smiles. He told me he felt cheated out of a normal family, that he didn't know anything either. And I felt this strange surge of empathy and anger all at once, like a dam bursting inside my chest. Strangely, we started texting every day after that. Slowly, he became the brother I never knew I wanted, the only good thing to come out of this entire nightmare. Meanwhile, my relationship with my dad, completely dead. I can't even look at old family photos anymore. They all feel like movie props, like snapshots from a life I imagined but never really had. Now, I spend my days helping my mom rebuild, piecing together her heart one day at a time, and discovering who I am without the illusion of a perfect father. Sometimes, in quiet moments, I still ask myself if I should forgive him. But the truth is, I don't know if I ever will, or even if I want to. Through all this chaos and betrayal, the strangest part is that I gained something real, a brother who understands the same pain, the same questions, and the same twisted legacy. So, I ask you, if you found out your parent was living a whole, secret life with another family, could you forgive them? Or would you walk away and start over, like I did? Let me know in the comments. And if my story resonates with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear they aren't alone. Thank you for listening to my story. It still hurts. My hero was a liar. I don't know if I'll ever forgive him, but I'm forging a real bond with someone who should have been family all along. What would you do if your parent had a whole secret life? Could you ever forgive them more? Would you walk away forever? Tell me your stories in the comments. If this hits you, please like, subscribe, and share. It helps us all feel less alone.
Don't forget to like and subscribe my channel, because in future I have more stories better than this one.